Darrow here from Daylily Gardens. Now I'm going to show you how to divide a daylily, or even several techniques you can use. Now, if you have a large clump of daylilies like this, you may be interested in just breaking it down into pieces as quickly as possible. So one technique you can use is just to use your shovel and cut the clumps up. So in this situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my shovel and I'm just going to drive it right through the clump. What you'll find is that I've actually cut it into two pieces. Now, the problem, or partial problem with this, is you can see I've cut a lot of the roots. Now you could imagine if you have a lot of clumps to dig, you're just trying to landscape a space, it might not be so bad just to take it and cut these into different pieces, because that way you can quickly get some large pieces divided up for planting somewhere. Now this plant will recover fine. Some of the fans may have been damaged or killed, but the bulk of the plant will recover and grow quickly. Now for us, because we consider our daylilies a premium, we always divide them very carefully. Now I have come up with this implement, which is what's called an asparagus fork or a dandelion fork, but it's a perfect dividing tool, and the reason is you can get into the plant and divide in a way that will allow you to carefully separate the plants. So as you can see, one of the first things I do is I try to look for a reasonable place to divide, where there seems to be a logical division. And I will go in a little bit down from the crown and pry the plant apart. You can hear there's a little bit of cutting, but basically as you separate the plant, it comes apart very nicely with not as much root damage. And so by doing that, you can quickly and easily divide plants down. Now, the other thing that I found is that certain plants, and at certain points, it's very easy just to divide them by hand. It's really just a matter of kind of finding a spot and wiggling / worrying them apart. And you can see that's what I'm doing here. I try to keep my plants into relatively large pieces, say 3 to 4 fans. That's a typical minimum blooming size plant that seems to work well. So I would typically break these plants down into something like this. And you can see I'm just carefully dividing them, cleaning out any weeds. One technique I've come up with is the knee fulcrum technique, where you actually put it on your knee and use that as a way to divide. So you can see I'm quickly breaking these down into smaller and smaller pieces. Now I've found this particular cultivar, the Forever Stella, is a very easy daylily to divide. There's some cultivars that are very difficult, that do not want to be divided. And that's when your dividing tool really comes in handy, because you can get into the roots, break it apart, and also be careful not to break the tops. I've discovered that some daylilies, the fans, have a tendency to break as you pull them apart, in which case you really need this dividing tool to get them apart. So again, I'm just breaking this apart bit by bit. Frequently I'll leave some bigger pieces, because it's always nice to have some bigger pieces to grow on or to produce more blooms. Again, as you can see, I'm just bit by bit pulling it apart. And pretty much there you go. Now you will find some pieces like this. People ask me sometimes, can a piece of a daylily like this be planted? It won't grow. It needs to have a root system. A little piece like this, with this little tiny piece of root, could very well reestablish and grow into a full-size clump, but obviously it will take a number of years.